started immediately after my son was born. As soon as I had him, I kind of knew, which is a very weird thing. So I didn't feel happy at all about it. And I felt really like disconnected. And I couldn't sleep at all. And like there was nothing that anyone could do to get me to sleep. Like there was just, they took the baby into the nursery and like I couldn't sleep. And then like I just felt super like, I'm so sad that I did this. He had jaundice, so he had to come back the next day to get him checked. And I went to talk to someone there at the hospital, and they thought I had that postpartum, but they were really like, there aren't a lot of services in general for it. So you can go inpatient for 5 days. And I was like, well, like no, because I just had a baby and I'm breastfeeding, and like I don't want to do that. Plus I didn't know yet how bad it was. Like I thought maybe I'll just get over it in a few days. And I waited, and it continued to be bad. Like I just was like super depressed. Like I just didn't want to be around him. That was the thing. I didn't want to see my baby. I didn't want to look at him. I felt no connection to him. I just felt like, and I could not sleep at all. I couldn't eat at all. So I lost a lot of weight. And then I became like super, super depressed. I went to like a treatment, like a crisis place, and they said the same thing. Like, you only go inpatient. There's no other services. And we can't give you medication if you're breastfeeding, which is a lie anyway. They're wrong about that. But all sorts of stuff. So then eventually I was like, I need to go to a psychiatrist, because I kind of knew just internally that I needed medicine. That's what I needed. But then they're like, you have like a month wait to go to a psychiatrist. So I just couldn't. I was like suicidal. I ended up going inpatient because there was nowhere else. So I went there for like 3 days, and they put me on medicine, and then it was better. I mean, it wasn't totally better, but it got better immediately. I was like, damn, like why couldn't they have just done this without me having to go into a hospital? Like it sucked, everywhere. Like I was super, like I knew, like I was really like, I know something, I'm unwell, I need to go. So like I immediately went to the hospital. I went to like the OB, like I went to everywhere, like trying very hard to get help. Like I was very proactive about it. And the places that I could have went to get quicker, like they don't take insurance, any of them. Totally new. I was like, I need help me. And they were like, no. They didn't believe me. They're like, no, you just have baby blues. I'm like, no, this is not baby blues. Like some doctors were like, it's not even a real thing. Postpartum depression isn't real. Like one of the psychiatrists that I ended up going to said like, oh no, you just need to like understand. You need to get to the root of. You need to do some psychoanalysis or something. I was like, oh God, like no, it was a lot of work to get there. I was lucky that my husband was home. Like I basically said, like you can't go back to work until I go back to work. So he ended up staying home with me for like 3 months. The bond, like he had like the bonding with my husband when like in the very, very, very beginning, like I guess I didn't do as much, but I forced myself to do it even if I didn't want to. So I don't really think it affected the bonding. Like I was worried that it would. I still worry sometimes that like because of that there's issues, and I think in the beginning like he had a close relationship with my husband and I felt sad about that, but then now he's like the opposite. So I guess that's how they do that stuff. Always. Constantly. I feel bad for putting my husband through it, having to deal with it, having to take on like the responsibility that he had to do. I still feel bad about it. Like I feel like it ruined the perfect image of what the family was supposed to be, and he didn't get that. I still feel like it affects me now. Like I feel like I'll never be as happy as I was. Like from what I know, a bout of depression or whatever, you're more likely to have more. And so like when I went on medication, and then the idea was that you would go off after a year because it would resolve itself, and then I did, but then like I thought getting depressed again. Like it wasn't as bad, but it was still a thing. So I went back on medicine. So I feel like I'm like a different person now than I was before. Like I forever have chronic depression now since then. And so it's sort of like, it's sad because it did impact everything. It seems like it will impact everything forever. He's just, I don't know, he's a very stable person, I think. Like luckily he, I don't know, he cope. I mean, he's an art, like we're both artists. Like he draws, so that's his big coping, and he's always drawing. And he still does that. It's like, yeah, like we were good, like relationship wise, like he knew everything. We have no secrets. So. It'd be horrible. I mean, that's the thing that I feel like is really depressing in a way about it, because I had like the resources and supports were like so much greater than most people have, and yet it still was the worst thing that ever happened in my life. Like the best person like support I could have. I have resources. I don't know, I had a lot of stuff and it still didn't matter. You know, like it mattered. I mean, like it made it easier. And I'm a social worker, so like I knew. So there was like all sorts of, you know, protective things going on, but it still was like impossible to get help. Like it was still horrible. So I can't imagine if you didn't have, if you were like a single mom going through it and you didn't have a lot of friends or family and you didn't have a lot of, or you didn't have insurance, or like I just can't even imagine. Feeling like I can't do whatever I want. I guess that I'm not able to, I don't know, follow whatever I want to do. I know it's a very selfish feeling to even say that, but that's, I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm not that stuck, but sometimes I feel stuck, trapped a lot. But you know, you made agreements to